Okay, but you brought up, something about the fans. We got overly emotional. We flip-flop back and forth. And you said something before the show. You asked me, do these athletes owe fans anything? Or something to that nature. Now, I want you to kind of explain where you're getting at, because my short answer was no, they don't. They don't.
So, like, on the day where Bryson DeChambeau feels like he did like this full character reclamation project where he showed a level of humility and grace that I didn't know he had in him, right? And I contrasted that with Rory, who has this very curated persona that he's the everyman and he came up the hard way. It's like, dude, you've been one of the 1% for 20 years now, and everything's always about money and him extorting money. And then yesterday, the fans, like, they want their pound of flesh when you lose. They want to see you, and I whether this is right or wrong, they want to see you stand up there in front of the firing squad, metaphorically, and just answer a couple questions. There's something about American society, whether it's right or wrong, there's just something about American society. We want to see people fall, and then we want to see them climb back up. We just do. I don't know why.
We just want to see people fall, man. And what a culture we live in.
No, I'm not saying it's right.
I know what you're saying, but I'm just speaking, like, look, what a culture we live in. I know, where we want to see people fail. I mean, we get it all the time.
Well, we despise success if you've never failed.
I had a guy tell me on Twitter in 2017, hey, man, we going to throw a party when you get fired. I was like, damn, why?
I mean, if you just say, like, what are the most triggering things in society, like nepotism, it, like, triggers people. Like, you were born on third base and you thought you hit a triple. Like, we hate that. And we just do. Like, society loves I came from nothing, started from the bottom, now we're here. We just do.
And I look at it could be harder as a Nepo baby to, like, live up to those expectations. Nobody wants to talk about that. Like, that's you being a Nepo baby, and all of a sudden you got to live for Noah Eagle, for example. You got to live up to Iron Eagle. Iron Eagle's a great broadcaster. Look, you're going to get opportunities by being the son of Iron Eagle.
For sure.
But you still have to take advantage of the opportunities.
No doubt.
That's what nobody wants to talk about.
No doubt. So on a day where I seen that, I'm like, look, Rory walking out and not doing the interview with the media. I'm not even trying to cape up for the media here. Like, I'm not one of those people like, you have to stand there and answer every question for an hour. That's not what I'm saying. It's just like, hey, man, you got to win and lose with grace. Like, that's part of sports. Part of sports, even on the highest level, is you have to stand there when you lose. And you have to kind of just face it. That is life, man. And I learned more about an individual, I've always felt like, during adverse times than I do about times where they're rolling, right? And so, like, then I asked myself, like, well, what does he really owe the fans? Like, what does he really owe the fans? Like, he probably doesn't really owe them anything. But on some level, I understand huge Rory fans wanting to just see him say, like, damn, like, I came close. I gave it my all. I didn't have it today. Like, I totally botched that. But, like, what else is he going to say? I totally yanked the putt and then pushed the other one. Like, period. But there are people that want to see their athletes acknowledge them. The fans want to be acknowledged on some level. And so, like, I see Klay Thompson and how he's reacting. And there are people, trolls out there, who want to get a rise out of you. And they want the endorphin high of, I commented on Klay's Instagram and he commented back. I mean, we see this on a way lower scale, but you and I see this all the time. And so, like, I guess my question is, like, in this day and age where the fans are the ones that are consuming everything, and if without fans, the television deals aren't what they are, right? To some degree, there's a direct and indirect correlation across the board. I mean, what do athletes owe fans?
You tell me.
I think on some level you got to be a little fake to them. Whether you think all of them love you or all of them hate you, I do think that, like, on some level you have to fake it. That's part of the business model now. It just is. I mean, you're in a consumer-based business. Yes, you're in a sports business where production is the number one thing. But, like, if you want to grow your brand and you want to be profitable years after you retire, part of it is endearing yourself to the fans. It's just an unintended consequence of being a great athlete.
Yep. Endearing yourself to the fans, taking the fans. I get all that.
And not alienating them, I think, is the most important.
But now in today's society, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to go down this road. But we see fans acting ass with fantasy football and gambling now.
Oh.
These fans, I watch them over the rail. I watch them go nuts. Call the players all kind of names. Call the dudes all kind of names. Talk about their families. You know, so sometimes I get it when, like, for example, Russell Westbrook gets all that heat, right? Some people think Russell Westbrook is a diva, right? I've had my run-ins with Russell Westbrook, no doubt. But I see people try to test him. And then he walks into a suite in Phoenix, Arizona saying, what was that? Do you really want to say that to my face? You have an opportunity now, and then they say, oh, man, I was just playing. On the smaller scale. You talked about us on a smaller scale. I've run into fans who've come at me hard. Oh, Bonte, hey, they beat me. Oh, man, you're taller than I thought. Hey, man, I didn't really mean what I said. I was like, I didn't take it personal. But don't keep that same energy at the same time. So fans, we can fan, and being part of a fan. Being a fan is you can flip flop, you get emotional, you ride high when they win, you ride low when they lose. You're depressed, you're mad at a player, you turn your back on a player. All that's cool. It's part of fandom, right?
Yeah.
That to me doesn't make it right.
What are we talking about? We're talking about critiquing play?
Critiquing play, just fandom. You ask me, are fans owed anything? So to that point, when fans flip-flop and do all these things and say all these things, and they're ripping players left and right, are fans really owed anything?
Well, I mean, Bryson DeChambeau is a good example. He was a jerk. He was a jerk for a long time.
To who, though?
To everyone. Fans? To everyone. To other competitors in the game.
Golfers seem to be like that because they're the 1%ers or the 1%.
No question. But I'm looking at a guy yesterday who looks like he has kind of come around, and he looks way more humble, and he looks like he really does appreciate the fans.
He got humble because he got his ass kicked over and over on these courses. So he had no choice but to be humble.
Well, I mean, he didn't have to be. And there's guys like Justin Thomas who's not humble at all. And
he hasn't won anything, right?
No, and I think he's a jerk. But, like, he's still wildly successful and rich. I guess where I draw the distinction is, like, you're talking about people, what I call, like, stepping over the line. It's one thing to critique the play, and I think that's what we've tried to do is critique play on here, or critique the actions that are associated with play. Like, for example, you put out a bunch of podcasts and you're talking all the time. Like, you're opening yourself up for criticism, right? And that I feel like is fair for critiquing. Now, going above the line, beyond the line, and, trying to get physical with someone, slurs, things like that. Like, we all can, like, that's out of bounds. Right. That happened before social media. It wasn't right. It's not right. It's never going to be right. I don't think it's acceptable. But critiquing play and being up and down on a player, that's basic fandom.
That's fair. Let's go to Dave in Fresno. Dave, what's happening? You're on a roast.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for getting me in today. You guys kind of already touched what I wanted to bring up, and that's, with Clay, he's probably looking around like, hey, you guys paid Draymond, Poole, Wiggins. I was here before them, and I was a huge part of why we are chasing where we at as a franchise. So I'm sure that's in the back of his mind, and, I know it's a different situation, but they took care of those guys without any hesitation. And now Clay's looking around like, yo, I'm Klay Thompson. And people might have different views on how they view him as a player at this point in his career, but still, it's like, I know some tough decisions need to be made, but they went out their way and paid those guys without much, to back it. Draymond had a lot of baggage, and he got the contract in Poole, had one good season. Wiggins had a good finals run, and Clay's like, hey, I've been here. I've been through it. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's feeling salty, and I don't blame him. So, yeah, some tough decisions need to be made, and some feelings are going to be hurt at the end of the day. That's what's going to happen. It sucks, as a Warrior fan, but that's the reality of the situation.
Well, here's what I would say about I think this is an important detail that we've kind of forgotten, and I've admitted I forgot it for a long time. When they signed Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, that was under the old CBA, thinking that the way of doing business was that the Warriors could spend whatever they want and it wouldn't be as punishable, as penal as it ended up being. So they signed Andrew Wiggins around October 15th, 2022. In April of 2023, they came to an agreement on a new CBA, and it was signed and activated July 1st, 2023, which completely changed how the finances of building a team are. And so I can understand why Clay would feel what he just said. Hey, you took care of those guys, no questions asked. Well, at the time of them taking care of those guys, they thought the rules weren't going to be the way they are now. And so it's a little more restrictive to be able to keep everything together. I mean, we have to also acknowledge what the Warriors have done in the last 12 years is unprecedented.
Right. But also, doing those deals, you thought you would get better production. because those guys will still be
Totally
around.
agree.
Think about where Wiggins
Totally
is at
agree.
now after signing the deal, where Jordan Poole is at after signing the deal, where Draymond Green is at after signing his deal last summer. So, again, I go back to the 2 years, $48 million. I don't think Klay, I have no knowledge of this. I'm not psychoanalyzing Klay Thompson, but just looking at it from afar, I think when he didn't sign that extension, and there hasn't been any conversations between the Warriors and Klay Thompson's representatives, I think it had to do with the years on the contract. I think from afar, it feels like if he got his 24, 25 like Draymond and Wiggins, I think it would have been cool. But I think it was the longevity of the contract that he may have been upset with, not necessarily the money per year. So when it comes to
betting
that,
on yourself, like I hear you,
and that's
I
what he
get
did.
that.
Basically, so he
No,
didn't
but I'm
sign the
saying,
deal.
like-
So he didn't sign the deal, right? Doesn't sign the extension. So essentially, he bets on himself, and now he's a unrestricted free agent.
Well,
and now we'll see what type of money and type of years he gets.
I didn't mean bet on himself in terms of not taking it. I meant like take the deal and then like worry about the 2 years from now. 2 years from now,
But he's going to be older. He understands that. You got to cash in now. You got to cash in now.
well, I think
You know,
but that goes back to like cash in
Right.
now
It's
is anti building under the current CBA.
But I hear that. I hear that.
know?
But you got to get yours at the same time. That's for the GMs and the salary
but-
cap experts to fill her out. Same thing with Brandon Ayuk. When I hear Brandon Ayuk, just take the 25, just take the 26. Well, this may be the one time you cash in. This may be the one time. Injuries may become a factor later in your career. Guys may get hurt. Team around you may get worse. It may affect your dollars.
No, I
so you got to
understand.
cash in right now.
But every league is littered with athletes who had to take a compromise somewhere. Everyone wants to make $400 million. Like everyone does. And
I
so
don't think Clay's asking for that.
no, but I'm saying like hypothetically, everyone wants a lifetime contract worth hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. So like I get like I'm so disrespected. It had a negative effect on him this year. It did. And like I think if he could go back and redo it, I wonder if he would have taken that deal.
Yeah, I don't know if he would have. I don't know. Steven in Oakland, what's happening?
Hey guys, well, real quick, did you either one of you see the 2022 championship coming? Did you see it?
No.
Not
Even
before
after
the
an
season.
18-2 start.
Not before.
Neither one. Okay, so let me take you through some history. Basically, 2020, Steph's out. 2021, Steph and Clay are out. And then 2022, we win. 2023, Wiggins is gone.
2021, Curry only missed 10 games, but continue. He had he hurt his butt.
Yeah.
They lost in the play-in.
2024, Draymond suspended for 22 games. We were 5 games away from being the 5th seed. If Draymond isn't suspended, we're in the 5th seed, and our entire playoff outlook is different. We need just Draymond to not get suspended, and Andrew Wiggins needs to go. And we're right in the midst of things. You guys got, like, people thinking it's all about Clay got it all wrong. I knew that we were championship contenders even before 2022. That's why I was at Game 5 of the finals, because I picked up overtime shifts knowing that they were going that way. And then also saying that Wiggins was our second best player for a month. Before Wiggins came on in the finals in the Memphis series, people were saying Wiggins needs to show up. So I don't want to hear that Wiggins was our second best player stuff. He only played good for 1 month. You guys got to really analyze our team. And
Wasn't he an all-star that year? Bonte, wasn't he an all-star that year?
Can you flush the guy, please? Can you flush Steven in Oakland? Flush him.
I love how he's trying to give me a history lesson, and he didn't even have the appropriate data.
I've been pre and post game host for 4 years now. I've been at 95.7 The Game for 7 years. Been going to all these games. What the hell are you talking about, Steven? For 1 month? Did you miss the entire guy giving us a history lesson, not knowing that Andrew Wiggins was an all-star starter in Cleveland, Ohio? Call's not good, Steven. You need to contact Floyd Water Plumbing Drain at FloydWater.net. I mean, it's just stupidity stuff. That's what I'm. And then to think that, hey, Draymond doesn't get suspended, our playoff outlook is different. Blah blah blah. Do you not know, Steven, that they went 0-3 against Denver, 1-3 against the Clippers, 1-3 against OKC, 0-3 against Minnesota, 1-3 against Dallas. You did split against the Lakers, but you're a 1-3 against Phoenix, and you think they were championship contenders? Come on, man. Oh, God. I almost used God name in vain. Horace in Texas. Go ahead. Horace, let's go.
What's up, fellas? How's everybody doing today? Happy Father's Day to everybody.
You too.
Hey, it's like this with me, guys. Hey, and Shasky, I appreciate your rundown about the difference between the old deal and the new deal, because that makes a lot of sense, and I agree with you on that point. But my issue is with these fans. All the toxicity that Clay has been receiving over the last year from these fans. It's like I've seen players decline on teams. I've seen players, have to leave teams, but not with this kind of toxicity, man. I mean, the dude only went through 2 possible career-ending injuries, comes back, helps you win the chip. And I understand what he did against the Lakers in the second round last year. I understand that he had an up-and-down season this year, which was pretty bad for him, but probably average, for the average player. But one bad season, and they turn on him like a pack of wolves. When Draymond Green, he runs KD off, he punches Jordan Poole, runs him off, he gets suspended left and right, gets kicked out of games, basically changes the whole trajectory of the team in 2 seasons, and these guys want to let Clay walk. I hope Clay hears this, because let me tell you something. I want the brother to stay. I think it'll be a big mistake. They will pay dearly if they lose Klay Thompson. And I just want Clay to know that he's got some fans out here that really love him and want him to stay. That's all I got, brother.